that just kind of gives us the idea like where their minds are at, as if we already, didn't know. I haven't had a chance to, about a year ago, April, there was a group of us, filed charges against Ronald Ritchie, and Mike DeWine stepped in kind of behind the scenes and sabotaged that. And I filed a complaint with the Greene County Bar Association, who claimed that they had I just filed like ethics complaints against them, the way they handled that. If you don't know, the Greene County Municipal Court judge found probable cause to bring charges against Ritchie and turned it over to the city prosecutor, who had the nerve to turn it over back. She recused herself and appointed Mark Pietmeyer, Mark, apologist, defense attorney for the cops, Pietmeyer. So he stepped in, and sabotaged it. He came back in as special prosecutor and sabotaged it, blocked it again. And moments before he did that, Mike DeWine came on TV. He just happened to be at Channel 7 that day. Right? So there's one more legal avenue that I'm aware of, and I'll be sending out information to see if people want to join in that effort. The bottom line is it's like the investigation needs to be investigated. Okay. So we're going that route, I think. So other than that, I have a poem I'd like to share with you, and then we can move on. But I don't think I can do it and hold this mic, so I'm going to ask for a human mic stand. Oh, excuse me.
Michael. Not Mike.
Yeah. Michael the mic stand. I would be remiss if I didn't acknowledge Mr. John Crawford Jr. It's good to see you, sir. And John's mother, Tressa, who's out here. Hi. My heart goes out to both of you so much. You just can't tell you how many hours I was just agonized over this whole thing. But I'm gonna keep swinging. We're gonna keep swinging. I'll be in touch with people, and I'm gonna get tired sometimes, and I need some encouragement, so just need to kind of like share the load a little bit. So, okay. A poem for John Crawford III. You were the victim of extreme white boy privilege, that which gives birth to distorted images of black men. One deluded white boy translated your image into a threat and amplified it with searing, deadly lies. The 911 call, he's a black man about 6 feet tall. He's pointing a gun at people. He just pointed it like 2 children, and in minutes you were gone. And he bragged about it afterwards, got what he deserved, he said, as the investigator nodded agreement. His lies recalled the lynching legacy triggered by white women screaming rape, calling in bloodthirsty, gun-toting sons of Jim Crow, lies fomented by fear that a black man dare lay claim to anything judged outside his realm, like the right to occupy free space, the right to live free of people with minds riddled with stereotypes, like the right to open carry. Open carry is for whites only here in Up South Ohio. Pietmeyer, defense attorney for a killer cop, posing as special prosecutor, making sure no prosecution would take place. Applied the chokehold to Lady Justice not once, but twice. And we watched her go down in the heap, gasping, "I can't breathe either." Mike DeWine whispering in his ear, "Kill that lady, Justice. She's got no business here." Proclaiming that you can't prosecute a man for lying unless you could prove that he knew the lies he told were lies. Absurd. And we all saw the law, and as we all saw, the law takes right turns, left turns, and U-turns when it comes to seeking justice for John Crawford III. I hear echoes of the voice of that Supreme Court justice slicing through the freedom of Dred Scott like a sword 16 decades ago. The racist mindset recollects that old northern spiritual, that a black man has no rights that a white man is bound to respect. Wrote a song about it. Want to hear it? Hell no. Thought maybe Jesus would help. They claimed he came to their shooting review board. They still arrived at the same conclusion as a jury for the murderers of Emmett Till, so they ain't listening to him either. We may have been duped, but we have not been conned. In spite of all that, John, your innocence will live on, asking us questions, and I will ride this roller coaster as long as needed until my soul stops weeping. And the alarm on my phone will keep going off 4 o'clock every Monday, reminding me of the vigils we held for you. And I will pause, and I will plan, and I will execute. Even though I wonder who, if anyone, will come to the rescue of Lady Justice, help her to her feet again and point the way forward. And I will keep fighting, though I often wonder if Lazarus himself could be revised in this here town.
Thank you, Bomani. I was expecting that, of course, from Mr. Bomani Moyende. He is probably the most fierce and fearless fighter for justice for John Crawford, aside, of course, from his parents. So thank you so much, Bomani, for that. We have a young Central State student who is going to give us a spoken word poem.
Hey, how y'all doing? Before I do any poetry or anything like that, I always like to tell a little bit myself so I don't sound like a stranger in front of 100 faces, I guess. My name is Onyango Collier. I go to Central State. That's all I could think of. Before I begin my poem, I like to say, I feel like my poetry isn't for everybody. So sometimes I can only speak from my perspective through what I see and maybe tell a story through someone else's eyes, but it's only through what I see. So if that makes any sense, I'm just letting you know.
Yeah, don't apologize. Don't apologize.
Anybody using this chair?
You are.
Nah, that hurt. I'm just another black man. And believe me when I say sometimes it's hard to stand. I bet you ask why. Because I feel like, and sometimes I'm afraid that I'm next to die. I'm the black man so mad I put holes in walls but too tough to cry. I hope I do what's necessary like Malcolm X, whether it's fighting with a book or a tech. I mean, I bet you don't see yet. If I'm next to be hung, hope I fight till every last breath in my lungs. I mean, if I'm next to be assassinated, to change my people, I'll be gladly hated. For if I die for bringing unity for you and me like UEP, then let it be. I'll be that unknown, unsung celebrity, but I bet you still don't see yet. Do you get it yet? To speak like this on a platform, you gotta know the risks. You be more blunt, you gotta be ready to die. So let me say, the only breaks my brothers see is food breaks. and broken bones. Got broken dreams cause he coming out of broken homes. And don't be mad if he breaking your house, better yet breaking your dome. And it's sad that the cops see us as boy, but the law see us as grown. And it's funny how schools see us as loans and money see us as, well, government see us as money or shit to be on. Now, to a black man, I'm just shit to be sold. I'm just looking like piece of entertainment. And you got brothers in the system, I call them mentally sold. You got brothers that get tired of it like it'll never end. I call them mentally old. Government to me mean mind control. They give us broke controls and fucked up remotes. Only the down button works. So, on top of that, it's to their console. I mean, to be fair, pain is you and my story. That's true. One after another, I could tell you from a cop to one of my brothers or homies got shot. I could tell you how my parents wanted child support to stop. I mean, and out of curiosity, I go to the white block, where they don't own apartments, but they own property. And they get jobs like it's policy. And on top of that, they call this system equality. Or in essence, never get a job over Molly. Where the seeds of crack been sown so hard that you can see it on every Martin Luther King Boulevard. I mean, that just make a poor hood, poor kid, hoping to get rid of these demons that leave you sick. Brothers become niggas and take your shit. So poor and black that white must be rich, and black rich is a glitch in the system when flicking on the switch to boot it up. While blacks die in and out of the country like we booted up. Hood rat girls want a ghetto brother be like, oh yeah, he'll shoot him up. While a smart black woman want an old white's nice butt cause he got a nice truck and even got a suck. And get mad at the black man who went from 10 to meet the Pope. Like in a few years, bro, you gonna be broke. And believe the stereotype that Becky know how to choke, or at least on some dope, maybe some coke, but it's all the same. Cause being black man, you gonna feel more pain and wear ice around your neck to ease that pain. Not realizing that ice is really a chain, not change, not even what the change you bought it for. Like blacks buy freedom, why you buy it for? I mean, from the start, black is the absorption of all colors, so therefore it really ain't that dark. I mean, few people hearing this might be ready to fight, but white is the absence of all colors. I ain't saying it ain't that bright, but I'm just saying everything's alright. I mean, I got one more, and I hope this one stays and lurks. If God created this image, I don't know what color is dirt. Better yet, wait. I ain't gonna end it on a note. I'm gonna bring you more. Let me bring more. I say, I feel like land is land, so therefore I am not American. I am an African that happens to be in America. Just had to make sure I cleared that up. We kill for a buck, but when it comes to a freedom, we don't give a fuck. In America, I'm stuck because I don't see any other area beyond. And trust me when I say I've been con. Art, gold, culture, jewels is what I pawn, and the ponder is so unreliable. He told me he had the key to life and death and handed me a written in Bible. I've been took, kidnapped me from my land and had a nerve to call me a crook. And my pirates, what they took, I don't know where to look. They took the key and put it in the book. Got me believing that Egyptians are Arabian and Jesus Caucasian. Matter of fact, try telling the black that Jesus was black and watching he act or him and his brothers was so dark that he couldn't tell his own sons apart. I've been hoodwinked. And the break in the hood, just think. I say, they like, it ain't that bad. That was way back then. But when you hop on the bus, boy, you better stand. So miseducated, your kids won't understand. But like, since then, America's been shook and awakened. Man, cops kill us with no hesitation. Judges have no patience. Make up 14% of the population. I know they faking. Looking at everything I'm facing, saying, fuck, now it's got me paper chasing. But it ain't that bad, right? Got my people so damn blind, content, and a heart complacent. But does it really have to smack you in your face for you to understand your race? We've been bamboozled. Tell us to be patriotic, but I'm the one living in this apathy. Crack, tobacco, alcoholic. The situation's so catastrophic. I wish I could stop it. We've been led astray. But who cares as long as I'm getting paid? I wish I should get more for this country. And I knew, which I've made. I preach this so I seem wild. I get called hostile because my black swag and afro style. But I have no dead bodies to pile. I have no strange fruits swinging in the breeze, hanging in the trees. And I say it and I say it again. We've been con, hoodwinked, bamboozled, led astray, run amok, and it won't stop. Cause you see, I didn't land on Plymouth Rock. Plymouth Rock landed on me. And I'm gonna change my people by any means necessary.
We have come too far, we won't turn around. We're in the streets for justice and we won't bow down. down. We have come too far, we won't turn around. We're in the streets for justice and we won't bow down. We have come too far, we won't turn around. We're in the streets for justice and we won't bow down. We have come too far, we won't turn around. We're in the streets for justice and we won't bow down.
Okay, we could sing Everybody Know Ain't Gonna Let Nobody Turn Me Around.
Yeah.
Okay, we have a couple of names here. They happen to be Jeff Sessions, Donald Trump, and Mike DeWine. Do we need another couple in here? That's enough. So let's say Ain't Gonna Let Nobody Turn Me Around the first time, and then we'll add these names. Ain't Gonna Let Jeff Sessions, okay?
Ain't gonna let nobody turn me around, turn me around, turn me around. Ain't gonna let nobody turn me around. I keep on walking, keep on talking, marching up to freedom land. Ain't gonna let Jeff Sessions, Lordy, turn me around, turn me around, turn me around. Ain't gonna let Jeff Sessions, Lordy, turn me around. I keep on walking, keep on talking, marching up to freedom land. Ain't gonna let Donald Trump, Lordy, turn me around, turn me around, turn me around. Ain't gonna let Donald Trump, Lordy, turn me around. I keep on walking, keep on talking, marching up to freedom land. Ain't gonna let Mike DeWine, Lordy, turn me around, turn me around, turn me around. Ain't gonna let Mike DeWine, Lordy, turn me around. I keep on walking, keep on talking, marching up to freedom land.
Just with others.
All right.
Thank you. We should not be
Let's give it up for Sister Yolanda for the tremendous work that she does. She does a tremendous, tremendous work. It is time, brothers and sisters, for justice. It is time that we see gatherings just like this across the nation, but it's also time that we begin to use strong strategy to make sure that justice comes. I was just with John and Tressa in Atlanta maybe 2 weeks ago. John, Tressa, maybe 2 weeks ago. And we had the opportunity to travel with about 52 families. We've been on a national tour. This is our third year. And to know the stories and to see the stories, sometimes I think people in high places forget what they're really doing, not to no-name folks, because all of these folks mean something to their parents, to their classmates, to those of us in the community who cares. And we got to fight for justice. Now, let me say real quick.
Yeah.
This is important work that we do. As president of the National Faith and Social Justice Alliance, representing a number of activists and clergy leaders and lay leaders from across the country, it's tedious work. And if you want to be popular, don't engage in justice for John Crawford. Don't engage for justice for all of the other names that are on that list, because it's not going to make you popular. There are folk that would rather see something wrong with you than to see what's right with you. And so today, I'm proud to say that I'm with a bunch of misfits who care about justice. I'm proud of that. I'm proud of that. John Crawford would have turned 25 years old last Saturday. Innocent, shot down and killed in arguably the biggest retailer in the United States. A retailer who has not reached out to this family, who has not helped to provide for John 4, I like to call him. 4 years old and 3 years old. John Crawford III was a father. And he ought to be here today preparing to get that 4-year-old ready, Carlos, to go to school. He was a father who loved his children. He was a man who, according to the plan for his life, would have been about a junior. He was a quick mover, from what I understand. He might have been a senior by now. At Kentucky State University, he would have been a thoroughbred. And I don't know what field he might have gone into, but what I do know is John Crawford Jr. tells me that the way he always knew, Reverend Stampley, that his son was in town was he would come home and the TV would be on the weather station. John had a thing about weather. And so Sean Williams took the life possibly of the next Al Roker. He also had a thing about music and loved music. He might have been the next Jay-Z, but that can never happen now because of that loss of life. And so I say to you today that when you stand for John Crawford III, you stand for a man that meant something to somebody. He was a son, he was a father, he was a nephew, he was a lot of things to a lot of people, but he was getting the house in order and could have been a lot to all of us. And that's why we fight. And so finally I say to you that those of us that are in this fight must commit to this fight. When we leave this place, we cannot leave this movement. When we leave this place, we need to scream John Crawford III everywhere we go, so that the nation never forgets there once lived a man. There once lived a man. There once lived a man. And so now is the time that justice must roll down like water and righteousness a mighty stream. Now is the time when Beaver Creek must be reminded. Now is the time when Walmart must be reminded that, like it or not, justice will be done. Somebody ought to be shouting right now, justice for John Crawford. Justice for John Crawford. We'll raise clenched fists. Justice for John Crawford. God bless you. Let's stay in the fight.
Balloons to release in memory of John Crawford. He again would have turned 25 on July 29th. I would love to just have a moment of silence and let them release the balloons in honor of their son. And if they want to say a couple of words, I would love for you to do that as well.
Okay, here we go again, family. Reverend McCory, I have no words. Thank you so much. I have no words. First and foremost, family, I want to thank you all for the continuing tireless effort to keep us alive. keep the story alive. And that in and of itself is it's a task. It really is. It's a task. What I want to quickly, and I'm gonna try to do it as quickly as possible. I want to sum up. Bomani, brother, thank you so much for your efforts, your tireless efforts, and everything that you do. There's so many others. I've gotten phone calls, voicemails, I mean, just a ton of them that I couldn't even get back to some of the people. I'm hoping some of them are here now from the local news and media, and I didn't get a chance to respond to you in a timely fashion. My apologies for that. But as the youth say nowadays, I'm a little bit into my feelings, just a little bit, you know. So hopefully you understand that. But I pray to the Most High that you never will have to understand it, if you know what I mean. But I want to quickly just kind of share with you what I need for us to do in addition, the next step, what we need to do collectively as a family. And that is, the fight that we're fighting is also familiar to me, because I've been a part of the system for so long, you know, so I understand what's going on. So although it seems like sometimes that I'm just this all-together guy, you know, believe me, it tears you down inside. It's a killer. We have within this system a codified language, okay, that is carried out and implemented by the powers to be, okay? So in order for us to change this language, you know, the language I'm talking about, the presumption of fear, I fear for my life, all of this subjective terminology, and in order for us to change that, this, unfortunately, this setting here, it will never change that. That's unfortunate, but it's the reality. It will never change that. What will change it, if we can take this and magnify it by the millions or the hundreds of thousands till it becomes congressional. See, we're in a congressional fight, if you all haven't realized that. How many have realized that this is congressional? It's way beyond the bounds of the city, the county, and the state. It's congressional, because they are the ones who implemented the language in the first place. They wrote it, okay? And even with evidence, conclusive evidence, it does not matter. The language allows them the ability or the inability to state what is true and what is not. That's what we're facing. It allows them to also state whether or not in that truthfulness or falsehood, who they want to protect. So I'm warning you all, because I don't know if we have any criminal justice background, any lawyers or anybody, you know, I don't know our various backgrounds. I know there's some here, but this is what we're facing, and this is what the fight has to be about. And it's going to be a tough fight, but we've got to be willing. If we're going to fight, we're going to fight. Otherwise, we sit down. That's how I'm built. See, because I'm willing to die for mine. I'm just not prepared yet, because I have a 4-year-old and a 3-year-old that needs to be taken care of. They need to be loved. They need to be shown something other than this tyranny that they're going to be facing as they get older and understand why Daddy is not here. They know he's not here, and they know where he is. He's sleeping with the angels, they say. But they don't understand the circumstances surrounding the loss. So I just wanted to mention that, so that we'll understand what we're dealing with. We're dealing with a rogue cop. Not all cops are rogue, so let's clear the air with that. Not all of them are rogue, okay? Not all of them. So we must deal with it as a case by case and on a case by case. Let's deal with it intelligently, strategically, and we're gonna take those attributes and we're gonna execute a plans. So one of the plans is simply that we've got to make this thing congressional. We've got to get it in front of Congress, okay? We've got to turn up the heat on Congress. The street has to do that. They're not going to do it for us. The external factors, i.e. the streets, that we're going to have to do that. Nobody else is going to do that. And me being one man, I could go and rap and rave and go crazy all to hell, but that still won't change it. It's going to take a collective effort from intelligent-minded people, righteous-minded people, morally sound people, and that doesn't discriminate. It doesn't matter what color you are, because see, they're killing white folk too. Look what they said about Angela Williams when she fell there. Oh, she was going to die anyway. She had a heart condition. She was going to leave anyway. In my biased opinion, I question even my white brothers is why you shop there? Why do you spend money where somebody don't care anything about you? Why do you do that? There must be some insanity to that, but that's my opinion. They'll never get another dime from me, ever, okay? I've not seen one news, mainstream news media caster in Bentonville, Arkansas with a mic stand in the front of any other Walton family. Not one. Why is that? Why wasn't our story aired? It was on the major networks for a hot second, and they got rid of it. Why do you think that is? Money. That is right. That is the power of corporate America. When you have billions, and they're worth what, $250 billion? Network Walmart. The town worth about $250 billion. Pull in about 40-some billion every year. You know, that's the power. That's what we're fighting. That's right. Otherwise, the alternative is very clear. We have to do it as Malcolm said. We have to get justice in the streets.
Yeah. Right.
One way or the other, you have to instill some understanding to the powers that be and show them that you're not afraid, but you're on the side of righteousness and right, because that's what this is about. Yes, it's racial. It's all of that, and for I don't think that's not even debatable. Everybody knows we have a race relations problems in America. That's not even debatable. So we already know that. But what I'm suggesting and what I'm sharing with you is that sometimes it's not even about race. It's about your status. Because if you're not in that fraternity, in that sorority, they don't give a damn about you either. They only use propaganda and the like to divide us. See, this is different right here. This is different. We're diversified. So the people on the streets passing by them, what is going on right there? And then they, oh, it's the Walmart thing. That's right, it's the Walmart thing. And I'm counting, and I'm just looking and surveying, and it's just as many white folk and different complected people here as the next, as there are blacks. Wow. That's a mystery to some. That's going to be a mystery to people like Donald Trump, Jeff Sessions. See, that's a mystery. Their ideologies they don't get it. It doesn't fit the criteria. So now that we know what we're dealing with, the next step is going to be to amplify what we have, and to strategize and see where are we and how are we going to come together to hit Congress.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's what we need, the plan. Right. It's time for implementation now.
Yeah.
So we'll use vehicles like this as we commemorate him coming together, sharing thoughts and feelings and hopes, and we need that. That has to continue. But we also need a more specific agenda.
Come on now. Yeah.
We need a more specific agenda. Because that's the only way that things are going to change. The only way. Otherwise, to them, it's business as usual. And I'm telling you from someone who trained with them, who's been involved in this climate for a very, very long time in various capacities. Parole, probation, juvenile justice, you name it, I've done it. Both been federally employed and state employed. So I'm telling you from a different perspective. And I want everybody to really, really understand and comprehend what I'm saying to you. So I don't know how we're going to do it exactly, but as long as there's social media,
That's right.
and we have different tools to use, let's use them that way also.
Yeah.
Let's use them strategically. Because see, what the ignorance, what they don't understand is they should be afraid now that that the DOJ has let him free. Sean Williams should be afraid. But in his own arrogance, he's probably not. Oh, I got away with it. And I'm going to do it again if the opportunity. See, this is a type of, this individual has problems.
Yeah.
He has serious problems.
Yeah.
And he don't care what color it is. Was the young man, the Air Force man that he shot almost 3 years prior to my son, what color was he? He was black also. Now, was he black or white? He was white, right? Yeah, he was white. I rest my case. I rest my case. A rogue is a rogue. It's all about, he's an opportunist. It's all about seizing the moment at that time. In 3/100ths of a second, this day, 3 years ago, at 8:26 and 55 seconds, I still hear it in my head every day, driving. 2026, 2026, where the dispatch was saying 2026, 2026, and in 3/100ths of a second, it was over. Just that fast. The fastest kill known to the history of the world from the time that he sighted him and shot him. He didn't care about the officer trying to hear some command. He didn't care about him even giving him a chance to do anything. He didn't care anything about that. He cared not. It was an opportunity to exercise his perceived power and authority. And he did so. But what he doesn't know, listen to me closely. But see, that was my son. And what he doesn't know, that it's not over. See, the spiritual healing, you say, is just beginning. See, the fight is just starting. It's not over. These cases don't go away. There's no statute of limitations on these type of cases. Okay? So, but he's not counting on any of that. He think he's free. Well, we got news for him. We can show him better than we can tell him. You know? And so I'm counting on you, along with me, to resolve and rectify this problem that we're having. And it's going to take all of us and some.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to working with you. If I don't get back to you, please, it's nothing personal. I will eventually. It just may take a while. I'm flooded with calls, and I welcome all of them. I need to hear from you guys. I need the media. I need any outlet we can to keep the story going, to let them know we're not going away. Okay? And to work on these strategies. So with that, having said all that, and that was a mouthful. Trust it, did you want to say anything? You don't want to say? She never says that. She never says. You know, some things never change. But having said all of that, and that's just a minute, that's a small portion of the fight that we have ahead. But I want you to know, I'm on Facebook. I need to get a Twitter account. Everybody who's pretty much, Johnny's Crawford Jr. on Facebook, inbox me, friend, what do you call it? The what do you call it when they reach out to?
Follow. Friend, follow.
Yeah, friend, follow, or I don't even know the technology, but you can find me, Johnny's Crawford Jr. Friend request. That's what I'm looking for. Friend request me, and you can follow me on Facebook, and let's get together. Let's start strategizing. I'm already on a lot of it. I'm just behind the scenes, kind of quiet right now. But there's one thing they say about the storm when it's at its worst. They say it's calm, you know. So just because you don't hear from me, it doesn't mean that I'm not engaged and that I don't love you and that we're not with you, and we're here. We don't have a choice. We're in this for the long haul until change is going to come one way or the other. So friend me on Facebook, follow us. We love you all. Thank you so much for coming and doing what you do. Continue to do it, and God bless.
Okay, we're just going to have a moment of silence, and we're going to let his parents release the balloons. And just for a few, maybe a minute or so, we would just like to honor John Crawford III in our hearts and in our minds and in our memories. who's actually going to speak for a couple of minutes as well.
Okay. One more announcement, family. We do have the foundation up and running. It's the JohnCrawfordFoundation.org. The JohnCrawfordFoundation.org. So you can go on there and get the gist of the story, and most of you already know it, but it is up and running. So if you want to make contributions to the cause and this, that, and other, that's where you can do it, the JohnCrawfordFoundation.org. And we have some other speakers, and I'm hoping that we have one to drive all the way from Chicago, and he's like 2 minutes away. So if we can just give him the benefit of the doubt and just kind of hang out, stick around, and talk to one another, whatever we have to do to allow him to get here, we're greatly appreciative of that. But it's the JohnCrawfordFoundation.org. And always remember, family, our condemnation is our contentment. Please remember that. Our condemnation is our contentment. Don't be content with this, you know. So that's all I had to say, and I'm going to turn it back over to you.
Us by killing us in Birmingham to get justice. They could not stop us in Selma when we got the right to vote. They will not stop us in Beaver Creek. They cannot stop justice. We want every Walmart employee to know, from the corporate office to this store in Beaver Creek, we want the Beaver Creek Police Department to know that John Crawford's blood is on your hands and he's crying for justice. And we will not stop. We will go to Congress. We will show up in Washington. We will show up and let you know that you cannot keep killing us and getting away with it. This is a movement whose time has come. This movement is about holding police accountable. This movement is about telling the truth. This movement is about standing up. And it started with us. It will continue with us. And we're demonstrating out here today to let Walmart and everybody know that you can't kill justice, and we are alive and well.
Hello, everybody. Tyler Sachs. One thing that I just wanted to touch up on and speak about is, you know, when that tragic accident happened, I was actually sitting in jail 3 years ago, and a lot of people that I seen on TV, I ended up getting the privilege to work with, and it's because of him that a lot of things in my life changed. It's because of that moment a lot of us came together. You know, it's because of him that we all here. It's because of him that people know each other that they didn't know before. You know, his energy is still here. He breathes through me. And we ain't going nowhere. I'm stronger than anybody may realize. They better check my bloodline. You know, I can take it. And I appreciate, you know, everybody coming out. And like I said, he had a major impact on my life. A major impact on my life. I never stop fighting. I never stop fighting. I ain't running. I don't know what it means to quit. I don't know what that means. And that's really all I wanted to say. I just wanted to say it's because of him, you know, that I had a serious awakening in my life personally. I don't know what I probably would have been doing had it not been for him and my son simultaneously coming into my life. You know, he did a lot. He did a lot. And he's still here. Don't think he ain't. He's still here.
Okay, we have a gentleman who is going to speak. If he is... Okay. Let me check just a second.
You want to do a song?
No, we don't want to do anything. We're good. We're gonna...
Justice for John's family. It's justice for us all.
Right.
Justice.
Okay, what we're going to do is that, I want to thank everybody for coming out. This has been a wonderful turnout. It's always a wonderful turnout. Even if Tressa and John were the only two here, that would mean all the world to me, because this is the most important thing for us to show to his family and to his boys, that this man was murdered, and we are never going to let Beaver Creek ever forget that he mattered to all of us. So we have a gentleman who is going to speak. We don't know if he is going to come. You're more than welcome to stay around to hear him speak. But at this point, I am going to go ahead and end this, except for Bomani is going to talk.
So what Brother Crawford just shared, about the language, it's going around in my mind. And what I'm thinking is, Mike DeWine's excuse for not prosecuting Ronald Ritchie, and this is exactly what he said. He said, you would have to be able to prove that he knew that the information he was giving was false. So, what about these killer cops who claim so much to be in fear of their lives? What if they would have to be able to prove that they were really in fear of their life? How do we set that bar? He's talking about going progressional. So maybe we need to attack, this language so they can quit using it as a crutch, to enact their power, to their get out of jail free card for killing innocent people. So let's think about that. A lot of you know how to contact me. Like I said, this is really going around in my mind, but that should be able, that actually should be like a bar that we should be able to set. They should have to prove that they were really in fear of their lives and not just say it, just like Ronald Ritchie, that we would have to be able to prove that he knew that what he was saying was false. And it was so obvious, as to any reasonable person, the Fairborn judge knew.
Yeah, they all know.
She knew, right. They all know, and we all know. Listen, Sean Williams, the other officer there, was supposed to be the supervisor on duty. Instead of waiting to listen to a supervisor, Sean Williams, he circled out behind him into the middle of the aisle, and so he could get a clear shot. He wasn't listening for any commands or anything like that. He had to make up the story afterwards and make this false claim, that he was in fear. There was no fear in his heart at all. All it was anger and opportunity, for him to shoot somebody once again. So let's keep this in mind. If anybody has any ideas about how we can approach this, because, excuse me, that was just some straight bullshit, okay? That was just some straight bullshit, okay? And we're not gonna stand for it, so keep resisting. Keep resisting, keep resisting. Justice for John. Did you hear what we said? Young John Crawford should not be dead. Justice for John. Did you hear what we said? Young John Crawford should not be dead. Justice for John. Did you hear what we said? Young John Crawford should not be dead.
All right.
We have somebody here who is, somebody who grabbed me real quick. Are you in?
Yeah. Okay. Oh, okay. Hi. I'm have a petition here to stop gerrymandering in Ohio. We want to get a petition with signatures to put on the ballot in 2018 that election districts in Ohio should be drawn in a nonpartisan basis. Right now they're drawn by the party in power, which is Republicans, so Republicans have an advantage, and they have districts where there's no chance for any other political party to win, and so the same people keep getting elected over and over and don't have to listen to their constituents. So if you haven't signed this petition yet, I would appreciate you signing. I have Montgomery County and Greene County, and look for it on the ballot in 2018 if we get enough signatures, which I'm sure we will. So let's make some fair elections, as fair as we can. We'll have to do the money after this, but at least let's have the election districts drawn in a fair manner. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, that is the end of the event. However, Mr. McCrory just told me that the gentleman was put on the wrong road and he is only about 3 to 4 minutes away. So if you would like to wait around, if Kathy wants to sing a couple songs, she's more than welcome to do that. If you want to wait around, apparently this gentleman has some really powerful things he wants to share with us. So if you want to wait around, that would be wonderful. Again, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
Who's been lost and he's now been found. So he is going to speak just for a couple of minutes, if you don't mind. I don't have a mic anymore, but I'm hoping he talks as loud as Reverend McCrory, and he'll be okay.
He'll be all right. This is Bishop Greg Greer, brothers and sisters from Chicago, one of our great national leaders in the city of Chicago. We go back a mighty, mighty long way, and I'm just glad this brother's here, and we're going to hear from Brother Greer.
So I wanted to take the time and just say, everything that we've done as a group, as an organization, as a community, has to start with the accumulation of what we're doing now. What are we doing? We're fighting for justice. Why are we here? We're fighting for justice. For those who can't be here, for those who are watching, for those who are bystanders, our job is to send a message. What does that message have to say? That we can't sit on the sidelines anymore.
That's right.
That we can't allow injustice to happen. What did Dr. King say? A threat to justice anywhere is a what? Everywhere. So from our standpoint, we'll let the people be quiet. We'll let the people let this day and hour go past. But what is our job to do? Continue standing together. Continue fighting for justice. Continue fighting against those who act outside of public interest. The politicians, the civic leaders, the ones who say, hey, nothing's going to happen. What are we saying? We're saying we're going to continue standing. We're going to continue marching. We're going to continue using our voice. We're going to protest. And we're going to continue seeking what?
Justice.
For how long? However long it takes, we're going to ask them for what?
Justice.
And who are we looking for justice for?
John Crawford.
I'll tell you what. Last thing I want to say is for many, many years, people are afraid to stand up and speak their voice, afraid to stand up against the big juggernaut, corporate America. But I'll tell you what, if corporate America does not take care of the most valuable commodity, we don't care about dollars and cents, we care about people. We care about human life. And that is the resounding message that we must send today. Today it has to be about human life, not about what's coming out of DC. Not about what's coming out of City Hall or the State Building, because they're not here, we are. And what are we saying again? We're saying we will not stop until we get justice. John Crawford, he didn't deserve to, his life ended suddenly. It didn't need to happen. So what we are saying is, we'll continue pushing forward, we'll continue talking in your home, neighbors, relatives, family, and tell them what happened here. Tell them what happened here, because just like it happened to John, it can happen to you, it can happen to your uncle, grandmother, grandfather, your sisters, brothers. Yes. It's not oblivious to anyone. And guess what? We are sending a message, and guess what? They're taking notice. They're taking notice. But next year, we're going to continue. We're going to be out here. The following year, we're going to be out here. And I tell you what, last thing I want to say is myself and John were at the United Nations 2 years ago. It's good that we can do things at that level, but guess what? The most important part of what we're doing when we're fighting for justice has to start right here with you and I. You folks are important, so God bless you. Keep standing together, keep fighting, and we can't let them forget about John. We cannot let them forget about John. I don't care. We can't let them forget about John. All right? Amen. Bless y'all.
for coming. Keep fighting for justice for John Crawford however we can. Check out the John Crawford Foundation. Check out Reverend McCoy, Bomani Manyende. They are all fighting for John Crawford. I'm just showing up and doing this stuff. So I will continue to do this as long as the parents will allow me. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah, we're here on this tragic day in remembrance, and yeah, I mean, I think the thing is right now, like, how can we be the most effective moving forward and getting justice, and also preparing our communities and moving our communities forward, and how do we take care of the families of the victims? How do we keep the energy really where it needs to be? Because I think we need to do a both and do it better. Because sometimes we're so far out in the streets that we're forgetting the family. And that's something that I've been pondering a lot lately. And I've also been pondering, you know, my platform got enlarged off of a tragedy, you know, and I don't feel comfortable with that. So I'm still processing that, you know what I mean? It was like, you know, how do we utilize tragedy for the maximum benefit of creation, and how do we honor the legacy of fallen soldiers?
Said, man, I could take a lot, man. Check my bloodline. I'm all right, and I ain't going nowhere, and I'm gonna keep on fighting till the death of me. And you know, take me out the game. You know, my son gonna be the sequel. Look out for him. Look out for us. We out here.
When the balloons went up, I felt like John was here, and I started to cry because I feel his pain that is left with his mother and his father and his children and his cousin who I just met. And I just think that we should never stop doing what we're doing, not only just for John Crawford, but for everybody. But we have to make the Justice Department hear us, and we have to get louder and be more vocal so other people in the community come and help us as well.
It's time for us all to wake up and see each other as brothers and sisters.
I think it's important, these events like this. It's good to see a nice turnout, and good speakers. And hopefully we can keep building on this sort of thing.
I think the speakers were really great here today. It was really encouraging to see all of these people out here in support of John Crawford and his family, and I hope that this will continue and it'll grow, and that people will not forget. That's the most important thing.
It's about fighting for justice for John Crawford III, standing, making sure that his name is never forgotten, fighting on behalf of his children, fighting on behalf of his mother, fighting on behalf of his father, and fighting on behalf of this community until John Crawford III's are not incidents anymore, and reminding this nation that John Crawford III was a man. He was a family man, he was a winner, and we believe that we must continue to stand until justice. That's why we're
So the crowd here that's standing for justice, we have to notate that it's not just a black issue, but we see white people here, we see Asian people, we see Latinos. We have to say that this is about human rights. We have to say that this is about the precious value of human life. Putting away an alternative agenda, alternative struggle, and our struggle has to be basically when we are turning on the TV and we see problems, we see a lot of issues, we see carnage, that the only way that it's going to be solved is we recognize that, again, it's about fighting for life, nothing else. And it's more than a community. It's about all people from all walks, all cultures, all shapes, all sizes that come together and fight, and that's what we're seeing here. So we're going to continue standing for justice for John Crawford III, and I tell you what, it's not going to stop until we receive that justice. Absolutely.
Good afternoon. I'm Pastor Joseph Hughley. I'm standing here in Beaver Creek, Ohio, for this Walmart where Brother John Crawford III was gunned down. The injustice for our people, including John Crawford III, is so unacceptable. It's unacceptable.
John Crawford III should never been mistaken of pointing a toy gun from their store and pointing at children. The dispatcher should be charged for false information.
Right.
This is unacceptable to the highest degree, and we're going to continue to fight till justice is served for John Crawford. We're going to continue to fight for any other body that was gunned out by the police department. We want justice. This is unacceptable. Department of Justice, Jeff Sessions, you need to do your job and start serving the people with these audits of federal investigations to these people locally. This has to stop. It is unacceptable, and we will not take it no more. And I will stand here for John Crawford III and anybody other families that's been gunned down. We will not stop until justice is prevailed. Thank you, and God bless.
Thank you.
Well, I'm the mother, I'm a grandmother, I'm an auntie, I've got nephews, I've got sons, I've got grandsons, and I do not want them to die before me.
That's what I'm getting with him.
I want justice for my son. You know, with this administration and this government, there's no justice for any of us. Disappointing with the United States. I'm so disappointed.
The John Crawford Foundation is set up. The website is thejohncrawfordfoundation.org. That's thejohncrawfordfoundation.org. And it's pretty self-explanatory, straightforward. You know, and if they want to get in touch with me, the best way to reach me is Facebook, John H. Crawford Jr. Facebook, just inbox me or friend request me, and I'll get back to you as quickly as possible. I appreciate everybody coming out. You know, the Dayton community, Yellow Springs, all the surrounding areas. We're just eternally grateful for the support that we've been given, and we're committed as well to supporting other families as well. These egregious acts of violence, and our efforts to continue to fight for justice.